In the opening scenes, we see a hunter in the forest and a boy who looks frightened. At one point the hunter hands the boy a knife to skin a deer. Olivia and Reid are about to get married and have organized an engagement party at a house in the woods. All their friends and family congratulated them. The couple plans to have the wedding in spring, after the baby is born. Reid and Olivia have been together since college. Currently Reid, who works on creating comics, is waiting for a response from a publisher. Reid's father is worried about his son driving back through the forest, as it's a 3.5-hour journey to the city. He urged his son to be cautious, warning that the woods might hide many dangers, but Reid just brushed him off. Reid wanted to take a shorter route, but Olivia insisted on using the regular road, as it was safer. Reid was upset about his relationship with his father, who still treated him like a child. Olivia urged her fiancé to be more understanding, pointing out that Reid's father had always been so kind to them. While distracted by the map, Reid almost caused an accident. The car skidded at an intersection of two roads. Olivia couldn't understand how her fiancé could be so careless, almost putting their lives at risk. To make matters worse, the couple got confused about which road they were on, and their phones had no signal. Olivia suggested they drive to the nearest gas station and ask for directions. The couple decided to do just that. The sight of a small store in the middle of nowhere didn't inspire confidence. The shopkeeper, an elderly man, sat motionless in a chair, showing no reaction to the visitors. The couple wondered if he was even breathing. The sudden appearance of an elderly woman made them jump. She announced that Ben was asleep and that she would assist them instead. Reid politely asked for directions. The elderly woman, who behaved very strangely, said that people often got lost in these parts. Olivia was still unsure if Ben was okay, but the elderly woman insisted he was. At Olivia's request, she handed over the key to the restroom. According to the elderly woman, they hadn't had any visitors at the store in a long time. She mentioned that she and Ben were married and ran the store together. Reid wanted to buy a map, but the only one available wasn't for sale. So Reid copied the route onto a piece of paper. Olivia returned, clearly wanting to leave as quickly as possible. The elderly woman suggested they take a dirt road by the dried-up creek, claiming it was the shortest route. As she continued speaking to Ben as if he were awake, the couple grew more uneasy. After buying some snacks, the couple left under the elderly woman's eerie laughter. Olivia and Reid continued their journey, realizing that the woman was completely unhinged. Nevertheless, they turned where she had suggested. The road was surrounded by a seemingly tranquil forest. Olivia flipped through a comic drawn by her fiancé. Reid believed the publisher would like his new work. Reid also hoped they would have a daughter. He had always had a strained relationship with his father, who constantly took him on forest hikes and forced him to hunt. Reid hated it. Olivia hadn't known these details. She felt sorry that it had happened that way. Failing to notice an obstacle in the road, Reid slammed on the brakes. Fortunately, neither he nor Olivia was hurt. Reid decided to move the rusty bumper off the road, noticing spiders crawling over it. Nevertheless, he removed it, and as he returned to the car, blood began splattering on the windshield from somewhere above. Reid was horrified. It turned out to be a hallucination. Reid was disoriented, which made Olivia worry. They kept driving. Reid felt they had been on the road for a long time, but Olivia said only 20 minutes had passed. She turned on the radio, but there was only static. Suddenly they noticed a vagrant by the roadside. Olivia was adamant about not picking up a stranger, but Reid couldn't just drive past and stop to ask the man what had happened. The old man couldn't give a coherent answer. Olivia began yelling at her fiancé, saying the man was mentally unstable and that they needed to leave immediately. Suddenly the hitchhiker started screaming for them to drive back immediately. In a panic, Reid hit the gas, speeding forward as fast as he could. Olivia doesn't understand how her fiancé could be so careless. Reid never thinks about the future, and Olivia is already tired of it. It's great that he's pursuing his dream of creativity, but with a baby on the way, they'll need to buy diapers, groceries and everything else. Olivia can't support the whole family on her own. Reid admitted to his fiancé that he still can't fully forgive her for the affair 3 years ago. It hurt Olivia to hear that. Yes, she made a mistake, but she has apologized 1,000 times. Suddenly the radio turned on by itself, and a creepy voice said, "She doesn't love you." However, only Reid heard it, not Olivia. Reid wants to turn around because the road seems endless, but Olivia thinks it's pointless since they've already come so far. She needs to relieve herself and asked her fiancé to stop the car. The couple apologized to each other for what they had said. While Reid stood guard near the car, wary that the crazy old man might be close, Olivia went into the woods. Suddenly a creepy cracking sound came from the bushes, and Olivia fell to the ground in fear. Someone threw a pine cone onto the road, as if to distract Reid. Lying on the grass, Olivia saw something approaching her. Hearing her screams, Reid ran into the forest. Olivia ran as well. Later, they continued their journey in the car. This time Olivia was driving. She said she had seen something in the woods. Perhaps it was an animal. Reid started talking again about how his father used to take him hunting. He seemed to forget that he had already told Olivia about this not long ago. Additionally, Reid injured his hand in the forest. Olivia hopes they can find some sort of medical station on the highway. Reid dozed off and had a nightmare. When he woke up, he was surprised by the fact that they had been on the road for so long, yet it still wasn't dark. Olivia said they had only recently left and that he hadn't missed anything. Reid doesn't understand how that's possible, as they've been driving all day, and the amount of fuel they've used confirms it. Olivia panicked. It was clear she'd experienced a memory lapse. Suddenly Olivia braked. The same rusty bumper was back on the road. Olivia tried to calm herself, thinking she must have accidentally taken a wrong turn somewhere, but Reid distinctly remembers moving the bumper off the road. Stressed Olivia developed a severe headache. Reid decided they should have something to eat. Out of nowhere Olivia saw a terrifying woman ahead, who then soared into the air and disappeared. In a panic Olivia swerved around the obstacle and sped forward. For the third time the couple returned to the rusty bumper. It was clear the old woman from the store had deliberately sent them down this endless road. Reid suggested they explore their surroundings before it got dark to reassess the situation. When Olivia got out of the car, it suddenly became dark. Reid assured her it had already been dark earlier. On the roadside, Reid spotted a car that looked like it had been abandoned for years. Reid insisted they had passed by this car before, but Olivia remembered no such thing. Suddenly sounds came from the bushes. First the couple saw a body, then a masked man attacked them. The couple quickly got back into the car while the stranger continued chasing them. The car wouldn't start for a long time. When the stranger lunged at the hood, the bumper fell off. The couple barely managed to escape. Olivia panicked, trying to make sense of what was happening. Reid suggested the man might be a hunter. They were almost out of gas. Thankfully they came across a road sign. It seemed like they were finally free. Through tears Olivia said they never should have listened to the old folks. Reid didn't understand what old folks she was talking about. His parents perhaps? Olivia tried to explain but Reid remembered nothing of the sort. At some point Reid found himself wearing a hospital gown and holding a pack of pills. The same old woman told him it was time for Mr. Miller to take his medicine. Reid screamed in terror. The next moment he was back in the car with Olivia, who said the road home would be easy. But seconds later she remembered everything. Reid noticed that the gas can and food were missing from the back seat. Could the hitchhiker have taken them? Reid decided their only option was to run, but Olivia wasn't sure she could manage in her condition. Suddenly the hunter appeared in front of them again. With no gas left, driving away was impossible. Reid tried to calm Olivia and urged her to run since there were no other options. At that moment another car appeared behind the hunter, distracting him. Taking advantage of the situation, the couple ran, with the hunter chasing after them. In the forest Reid twisted his ankle. The couple hid and agreed to continue moving parallel to the road later. Footsteps sounded nearby. Reid and Olivia froze. Thankfully the hunter didn't notice them and walked away. Olivia asked Reid to promise they would return home. Some of their memories about the past seemed to conflict. Soon they emerged back onto the road. A car was parked on the roadside. It looked like theirs, yet somehow not. Reid couldn't understand why his leg hurt so much. He didn't remember tripping in the forest or why they had been running. Their minds felt clouded. Reid insisted the car was theirs, while Olivia denied it. The couple argued in a fit of hysteria, and eventually Olivia walked away along the road. Reid heard her scream but couldn't act before the hunter knocked him out. They woke up tied up somewhere in the forest, surrounded by all kinds of junk. Olivia was sure it was the end, so she began apologizing to Reid for everything. Reid was ready to leave the past behind because he loved Olivia. In tears, Olivia confessed that she had cheated on him more than once and deeply regretted it now. Reid only asked if he was the father of the baby. At that moment the hunter, speaking in a crackling radio-like voice, ordered them to shut up. Olivia wasn't sure about anything anymore because her memory was so fragmented. But one thing she knew for certain, she loved Reid. The hunter declared that Olivia didn't love Reid and grabbed her, but the hitchhiker appeared and neutralized the hunter, freeing the couple. All three ran through the forest. The hitchhiker said he didn't remember who he was. The endless road showed people horrors until they couldn't distinguish reality from hallucinations. The hitchhiker led them to the road. The couple's car looked as though it had been abandoned for a very long time. The hitchhiker admitted he'd never found a way out, but this was the first time he had seen the sign on the road. It seemed Reid and Olivia had done something special. Perhaps this was their way to escape. According to the hitchhiker, there were others in the forest. Apparently they were the ones who stole the gas. The hitchhiker also revealed that there were many cars along the road, Each the same car, but the further down the road, the older they got. If they went the other way, everything would become younger in time. Olivia was only concerned about her baby. Suddenly the hitchhiker turned aggressive and began chasing the couple away. They ran down the road. As they walked, the sky grew lighter. Reid couldn't hide his anger toward Olivia, who it turned out had deceived him. Olivia cried. She vividly remembered how Reid ended up in the hospital after trying to harm himself. Now Olivia didn't want any more secrets between them. Reid tiredly suggested they keep moving. If the old man was right, they would see more versions of their car and eventually find one with gas. In the forest they heard something and hid, spotting a copy of Olivia. It was from the moment when she had gone to relieve herself at the beginning of the journey. A copy of Reid was on the road. The original Reid threw a cedar cone to distract his copy and steal the gas. The copy of Olivia was actually frightened by Reid running with a gas can, not by any animal. That's how the couple got the gas. In the car, Reid again mentioned how he had hated hunting as a child while his father loved it. Then Reid poured the gas into the tank, and they drove off. Once again the hunter blocked their way, but another car behind him distracted his attention. Olivia suggested reversing. Maybe that's the solution, and perhaps this is what the hitchhiker meant. They came across the road sign again. Reid forgave Olivia for everything, saying how much he loved her. Right now the most important thing for them was to escape. Due to his injury, Reid started feeling unwell. Olivia began searching the backseat for a first aid kit but instead found various hunting supplies. That's when Olivia realized that the hunter was Reid all along. Perhaps he had known about her infidelity from the start and wanted revenge. Reid denied everything, insisting that they were both just losing their minds. But Olivia continued to threaten him and forced him out of the car, demanding the keys. At that moment the hunter appeared and chased after Reid, who hid in the forest. The hunter picked up the dropped car keys and left. Reid remembered the lighter, a gift from his father. Seeing an injured copy of herself on the passenger seat, Olivia ran out of the car. At that moment the hunter inflicted a fatal injury on her. In reality the hunter was Olivia, not Reid. When he returned, he witnessed this scene and attacked Olivia the hunter, taking her life. Reid was powerless to help his injured fiancée. Suddenly another hunter attacked him, but this time under the mask was his father. The father dealt Reid a fatal wound, then tossed a gas canister out of the car and pulled out a rope. The hunter was about to finish Olivia off. But Reid, despite his injuries, intervened. Pouring gasoline and throwing the lighter at the hunter, Reid placed his unconscious fiancée in the car, and they drove away. The flames engulfed the trees. Reid sped at full throttle. Reality around them began to distort. At some point they managed to escape the cursed place. In the next scene, we see Reid regaining consciousness in the car near a sign that says shortcut. Reid tried to wake Olivia, but she was no longer breathing. Reid received a call from his father. No one had been able to reach the couple for a long time, and the parents were very worried. Reid tearfully said that something terrible had happened. Realizing that the only way to bring his beloved back was to return to the cursed road, Reid set off. He picked up a stick from the road, the same one the hitchhiker had. The fog swallowed his silhouette. At that moment Olivia woke up. It turned out she was alive. The forest began to drive Reid insane again. Suddenly he heard footsteps and, turning around, saw a little girl. Reid instantly knew it was his daughter. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss more exciting new products. Also, the authors will be pleased if you leave your opinion in the comments.